Hi, this is Phyllis. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to make this raw bracelet, right angle weave bracelet, and we're going to have the crystal top embellishment on it. So if you like what you see, stay tuned for my materials list and we will get started. Thanks. The materials for today's project are, I've got a 15-0 seed bead here, and this is the Manicure brand, and the color is Duracoat galvanized pyrite. I'm using some 11-0 seed beads, and these are Toho, and they are the semi-glazed turquoise color. I'm using 4mm fire polish beads, and these are in the gold color. I'm using some 4mm bicones, and these are Swarovski in the Pacific Opal color. I'm using a swivel bottom lobster claw, and it is 11 by 5 in the gold-plated brass color. I'm using an 8mm, yes, an 8mm soldered jump ring, and it is 18 gauge. I'm using 2 wire guardians, and they're the small ones, and they're just in the gold color. And I'm using a size 10 beading needle, and I already have my needle threaded with 5.5 feet of my 6-pound fire line in the crystal color. I'm using my nippers and my bead board, and that's it. If you like the picture of the bracelet that you saw in the intro, stay tuned and we will get started making this bracelet. Choose your colors and let's go. So on my needle, with my 5.5 feet of fire line, I have strung on a 4mm fire polish bead. We're going to do our clasping connection first, so while I'm here, I'm going to string on 3 of my size 11 seed beads, 1 of my wire guardians, and to do that, we're just going to pass our needle into one hole of the wire guardian and pull down the thread and continue to advance the needle into the other hole of the wire guardian, and just going to hold our finger on that guardian just so that we can guide the thread into the groove of the guardian. You want to make sure that your thread is seated in the groove of this guardian, because these are wonderful only when they are applied properly. So already I've got my thread is just doesn't want to cooperate. That's all right though. We are going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. So while I'm here now, I'm going to just take the lobster claw and slide that on to my needle and just let that fall into the horseshoe, into the center of the wire guardian here. I'm going to pinch the guardian so that the lobster claw does not slide out of it. And I'm going to run my needle into this top 11-0 seed bead here, and just that top one, and I'm going to pull my thread. And now we're going to manage all of these things. We're going to make sure that the thread is in the wire guardian, and that I've got about 4 inches of tail thread to hold on to here. That looks good. I've got my beads here. So now, and let me just get 4 inches of tail. Now I'm going to string on 2 of my 11O seed beads and pull these all down and tie them all in a knot. And then I'm going to tie another knot. This time I'm going to go through my loop. Well, let's get our loop back. This time I'm going to go through my loop twice. And I'm going to reinforce this clasping connection. And I'm going to do that while I'm not recording so that I don't bore you with those reinforcement details. Just make sure you do it. Go up into all of your seed beads here. Come on, let's focus. Yep, up into these 3. Well, that was 2 of them. And so when I'm done reinforcing, I will turn the camera back on and we will continue. I completed reinforcing my clasp connection, and my needle is now positioned exiting the fire polish bead in the same exact place where my tail thread is exiting or is. So at this point, I'm just going to move my tail thread out of the way. I'm not ready to cut it off yet. I don't have, I'm not secure in my connections yet. So I'm going to, from here now, string on 2 size 11 seed beads, a fire polish bead, and 2 more size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to go back into this fire polish in the same direction that the thread is exiting. It's a little busy around here. You might hear some noise. I'm crazy to try to record a video today, but the inspiration hit me and I think I better just go with that. All right, so we're gonna reinforce. I'm gonna reinforce this connection by passing my needle into the 2 size 11 seed beads, that new fire polish bead, these 2 size 11 seed beads, and back into our original fire polish bead, up into these 2 fire polish, size 11 seed beads again, and get that tail out of the way, and now here into the fire polish bead. You could do that again if you want to, but I'm just going to continue to move ahead. Now I'm going to string on 3 of my fire polish beads, and I'm going to pass back. So this is where we are. What I did was I turned, here's the tail thread to help to keep you centered and focused here. This is my tail thread. I'm going to move that out of the way. I made this connection here and I reinforced it, and my working thread is exiting this fire polish bead here in that direction. I strung on 3 more fire polish beads, which I subsequently let fall off the needle, and now I'm going to enter into this new fire polish bead here back in the back hole of it, so that our working thread is going in that direction. We're going to pull all these beads here and make a unit. I'm going to flip this over so that it's easier for me to work, and I'm going to reinforce this connection by going through all of these fire polish beads again. And the formation of the unit is easy to keep with fire polish beads. If you're using a round bead or a pearl, it may not be as easy to keep, so I go through one bead at a time, so to try to ensure that my formation of my units remains the same. Now, actually I went too far. All right, so now I reinforced this connection and I'm exiting this fire polish bead here with the size 11 seed beads here attached, and I'm going to string on size 15-0, an 11-0, a 15-0, a bicone, a 15-0, 11-0, and a 15-0, and I'm going to pass my needle into this fire polish bead going in this direction, and hold on to your beads, because this is not going to do right. I promise you, you're going to have to arrange these so that they sit where you want them to sit. I'm going to now turn this around so that my lobster clasp is facing that way, and I'll show you what I have. It looks a little loose because it is, but these are the beads that I added: the 15-0, 11-0, 15-0, bicone, 15-0, 11-0, 15-0, and I went through this fire polish bead. I'm going to now string on one 15-0 and one 11-0, and I'm going to pass my needle into this 15-0 bicone, and oh, I can't get it, and the 15-0. I'm going to get it though after I finish pulling my thread through, because this can be very wonky and the beads will come loose. And that happened to me in my practice runs and of course it's happening now. All right, so my thread is now exiting this 15-0 seed bead, and what you're going to want to do is use your dexterity, hold your working thread in your fingers, and put your thumb here on this 15-0 where your thread is exiting, and just pull. Make sure that's tight. You're going to need it to be tight because you don't want any of that thread showing when you finish making this embellishment. And at this moment here, we're going to string on an 11-0 and a 15-0 and pass the needle back into the fire polish bead where we began. Just that fire polish bead, and pull your thread, and this is what you have. And get that tail thread out of there. You know, you can cut it off. I'm going to cut mine off now. I think I'm ready to cut it off, and I'm turning this back around so that the lobster clasp is facing me. The lobster claw, I mean, is facing me, and this is what you have. You want your bicone bead to be centered. Mine is not centered because my thread isn't tight, and you can reinforce this entire connection. Make sure that all these beads are sitting here where you need them to sit, but this is what the units are going to look like. Of course, not blurry. Now, to get into position to continue, you pass your needle, advance it through this fire polish bead on the side here, and in fill fashion, we have a knot. We can't make a video without having a knot in our thread. All right, so we pass our needle into the fire polish bead here on the right side, and we continue to advance it through this bottom fire polish bead. And we are here at the point where we are going to string on 2 size 11 seed beads, a fire polish bead, and 2 size 11 seed beads, and we're going to pass our needle back into this fire polish bead where we are exiting, and we're going to make a unit, and we are going to reinforce this unit by going through all of the beads again. And then we're going to continue advancing our needle through the next 2 seed beads, and into this fire polish bead, and here we go again. This is the daintiest bracelet that I have made in a long time. Trying to find a coin. Of course I don't have a coin, but it's pretty dainty, and if I put my 8mm jump ring there, you could see it's just really dainty, really cute. All right, so this is how you do. You continue just like we did before. Remember when we were here and we made this unit? Well, this is where we are again. We're about to add our next 3 fire polish beads here and make the unit with the embellishment. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to string on 3 of our fire polish beads and go back into this fire polish bead here. And make the unit, and we're going to reinforce the unit, and we're going to get our thread tangled up in our bead board as usual. And once we finish reinforcing the unit right here through this fire polish bead, then we're going to add our embellishments. So we're going to begin with a 15-0 seed bead, an 11-0 seed bead, and a 15-0 seed bead, a Bicone crystal, and a 15-0 seed bead, an 11-0 seed bead, and a 15-0 seed bead. We're going to pull all of these down or something, and we're going to get a knot in our fire line as usual. I don't know, it might be knot day. K-N-O-T, N-O-T, same thing. All right, we're going to advance our needle into this fire polish bead right here. When you do that, hold on to your beads because they are not going to sit right. You have to arrange them into their position just like this. And I'm going to turn mine around so it's easier to access the beads where I need to be. And I'm going to string on 1 size 15-0 seed bead and 1 size 11-0 seed bead, and I'm going to pass my needle into this 15-0, this Bicone crystal, and the 15-0 seed bead that's sitting on the other side of the crystal. Pull my thread, and now I'm going to string on 1 size 11-0 seed bead and 1 size 15-0 seed bead, and I'm going to pass my needle into this first fire polish bead right here, and I'm just going to move this over out of the way and pull my thread, and this is what you got. And make sure you fix your beads so that all of them are sitting up in their proper places, and this is what you should have: 2 embellished units. So this is easy. This is what you're going to do the entire length of your bracelet, minus the length that you need for your wire guardian and your jump ring. So continue making these steps until you get the length that you need, and when you get the length that you need, we will put on our the other end of our clasping together, and we'll finish the video. I'll see you soon. So now at this point on my bracelet, I am completed with the embellished units, and I want to make it symmetric by making the clasp unit on like I made on the other side. So what we're gonna do here, my working thread is exiting this fire polish bead on the last embellished unit, and on my thread I have already strung on 2 size 11 seed beads, a 4mm fire polish, and 2 more size 11 seed beads. And with my needle, I'm going to go back into this fire polish bead from the back and pull my thread this way. I'm going to reinforce this unit, and after I reinforce the unit, I'm going to advance to the side here and back into this fire polish bead. Now I'm prepared to complete my clasp unit by stringing on 3 of my size 11 seed beads, and I'm going to pass my needle into one side of the wire guardian and pull these down and continue advancing my needle. How about in camera, right? Continue advancing my needle into the other side of the wire guardian, and I'm going to just pull that down there. And I'm using a soldered jump ring, which means that this isn't an open one. It's a solid ring, and I'm just going to slide that on and let that fall into the wire guardian. And once it's in that wire guardian, I'm going to pinch the guardian, okay, I'm going to pinch the guardian today. How about that? And to make sure that the thread is in the groove, we're going to do that double check there, and of course it is not. So all you have to do is really hold your finger there and pull that down. A little tension will ensure that it's in there. So at this point, I'm going to just pass my needle into that top size 11 seed bead and pull my thread all the way down. We know the that jump ring isn't going anywhere. All right, so now once here, excuse me, I'm going to add these 2 seed beads, and I'm going to pass my needle back into this fire polish bead on our clasping unit and pull the thread there. And at this point, what we're doing is reinforcing. Pass my needle back up into these three, and I couldn't catch on to the wire guardian, but I'm going to catch it this time. To the first hole of the wire guardian, into that jump ring, and down into the second hole of the wire guardian and the top size 11 seed bead, if I can get it. Well, guess what? I got an extra seed bead, and I'm going that way anyway, so just continue to advance that. But I want to make sure that the thread is going to sit into the groove of that wire guardian. So what I'm going to do is put my finger there, right on top there, because it's not in there, and there you go. That thread is right there, sitting in the groove of the wire guardian. And now just gonna continue to advance my needle back into the fire polish bead in order for the reinforcement to be complete. There it is. Now I'm just going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to continue to pass my needle and thread, advance it into these two seed beads on the side and into this fire polish bead here. Once here, now I'm going to be coming in this direction, and so that's what you want to remember. I'm going to make a half hitch knot by passing my needle up under this thread bridge right there. You see where my needle is? I'm pulling that up a loop around that thread bridge. I'm passing my needle into that loop once, and yeah, just want to make sure that thread is managed, because I want my knot to be right there. There you go. One time through the loop, two times through the loop, and we're going to pull that thread down and make that knot right there, and advance our needle into this fire polish bead right here, because we're going in that direction anyway. Once here, we're going to make another loop, half hitch knot. We're going to pass our needle under this thread bridge here and pull up a loop. Sometimes you have to make a loop like this, and I'm going to pass my needle into that loop one time, twice, and make sure I don't have my thread anywhere else, because I want my knot right there. Pull my thread down and continue to advance my needle and thread through this fire polish bead, and I think I have sufficient number of knots. Just going to keep advancing this way because I'm going in that direction anyway. Just go around here and go around into the next right angle weave unit, and just go right around it. And I believe that this is going to be secure enough. Once you get here, pass my needle this way. I'm gonna pick up my nippers, stretch this thread, and nip that right off, and there you have it. A simple crystal embellished bracelet that is easy to make, dainty, and beautiful at the same time. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you like this project. See you next time.